and gentlemen.
O'clock and a 2 milligram injection at 5 o'clock. That red line has been represented to be the blood level that would be achieved over the time that it would be achieved. You see that?
I do.
And would you be capable, based upon calculations, of estimating how many pills it would take to be orally ingested, say at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock, whether they're all taken at 7 o'clock, or they're all taken at 10 o'clock, or a combination of times? Overall, approximately how many pills would have to be consumed between 7 and 10 to get to a level of 0.169?
Are you asking me if I have, or?
Have you done that calculation?
Yes, I have.
And what amount of pills and what variables would it take? Have you considered in evaluating the amount of pills it would take?
Objection beyond this witness's area of expertise, Your Honor.
I'm going to sustain the objection, absent further foundation. And when you use the term pills, I don't know what.
Well, okay. Are you familiar
but in
with,
terms of foundation, please inquire.
In your qualifications becoming certified by the state of California, have you learned to analyze samples and determine the approximate amount of drug ingested to obtain certain readings?
As part of the analytical toxicology process, no. I have learned how to use the calculation to determine dosage to therapeutic level, yes.
And what do you use to make that determination?
There's a formula available.
What is that formula?
I don't have it with me here. It is a dose to peak formula that uses the volume of distribution of a drug or of a person, and uses the elimination rate and the half-life of the drug.
And do you make these calculations on a regular basis in the course and scope of your employment?
No, I do not.
This would be an unusual situation?
Yes, it would.
Do you rely on the text, the lorazepam description in the book by Basalt?
I refer to Basalt. Basalt does not have this calculation in it.
Well, does Basalt have the calculation that you would expect to obtain by the ingestion of one tablet, 2 milligram tablet of lorazepam?
It does not have the calculation, but it does have what you would expect from the ingestion of 1 milligram.
And do you rely on that book?
Yes.
And what would you expect from the ingestion of 1 2 milligram tablet of lorazepam?
Well, I would have to refer to Basalt. I don't have that memorized.
If I can have just a minute, Your Honor.
You may, sure.
Showing you an article titled Lorazepam. You recognize that article?
I do.
And are these figures that you rely upon in determining half-life, absorption life, and what you'd get from a 2 milligram pill?
What you get from a 2 milligram pill is published in the article. So is the half-life, and the volume of distribution is published in the article.
And what do you get from a 2 milligram pill?
According to Basalt, you're going to have a 2 milligram pill is going to have
from the article.
Yes.
Well, is there an objection, or do you simply want the record to reflect?
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection is sustained. The partial answer is stricken. You may disregard, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you familiar with that article?
Yes.
Have you reviewed it before?
Yes.
And have you relied upon it in determining the amount that you'd get from a 2 milligram pill?
Yes.
And as a result of reading that article, does it refresh your recollection as to what that amount would be?
Yes.
What would you get from a 2 milligram pill?
You would get
Same objection.
The witness appears to be reading, so the partial answer stricken, please disregard. You may turn over the article. If you need to reference it, you can let us know. But I think the question is calling for your own opinion. Is that right, Mr. Flanagan?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may re-inquire, please.
Mr. Hanson, in your opinion, what would you get from the ingestion of a 2 milligram pill?
From a 2 milligram pill, you get 0.018 micrograms per mil.
Okay, and do you have a recollection of the half-life of lorazepam?
It's about,
Talking about absorption half-life?
Metabolic
I'm going to have to sustain the objection. Re-ask, please.
metabolism, burn-off, elimination half-life.
Objection
approximately,
relevance as to stomach absorption half-life.
I don't know in what context the question is raised. Sustain.
Are you aware of what the elimination half-life is of lorazepam?
Objection vague unless we're specifying the absorption half-life in the stomach. That's what this chart refers to.
No.
The objection is overruled. Do you understand the question?
I believe I do, yes.
You may answer it.
What is the elimination half-life?
12.9 hours.
Excuse me?
12.9 hours.
12.9 hours. And what does that mean, half-life, elimination half-life?
That is an indicator of how long it would take for the blood level to drop by 1/2, how much time it would require for the blood level to drop by 1/2.
So if a person had a 0.16 blood level of lorazepam, it would take 12.9 hours before it would go to a 0.08?
That's correct.
Okay. And is that number significant in your figure in calculating the number of pills that it would take to get to a certain level?
It's part of the calculation, yes.
Okay. And so, looking at that diagram that was prepared by Dr. Schaefer up there, does it appear that the level between 7 and 10 appears to be fairly consistently right around 2?
That's,
0.2?
it appears to be about the same, a little lower at 10 than at 7.
But fairly close.
Fairly close.
And would you estimate it to be right around 2, plus or minus a little bit?
Hard to see on the chart, but it could be around 2.
You see where it says femoral vein concentration?
Yes.
I believe Dr. Schaefer drew that in to mean 0.169. Does it appear to be, as it's drawn, depicting a 0.169?
Yes.
And you see where it says not responsive to painful stimulus, appears to be about a 0.18?
Yes.
And the other line where it says responsive to painful stimulus, just above a 0.15.
Yes.
Now, the difference between the 0.02 plus or minus a little bit at 7 and the 0.02 at 10 to the 0.169 concentration, is that approximately 0.149?
Yes.
Have you made the calculation as to what it would take in terms of lorazepam pills to go from a 0.02 to a 0.149?
This is area of expertise, Your Honor.
Sustain. Absent further foundation.
Can we approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Conrad Murray is now deep in thought. He knows these points are critically, to his defense, important. If they can establish that some other doctor or any other person had given Michael something that Murray was not aware of that day, a jury could find reasonable doubt that Murray was the only one responsible. The next issue would be, does any other doctor have any responsibility? Does anybody else who gave Michael anything pharmaceutical have a duty? Are they criminally responsible? And I think it is unlikely that anybody other than Conrad Murray will ever be held for any accountability based on the limits and all the other players that have been cut out of this case and not allowed to testify. Well, that's my report on October 25th.